These are the topics just I planned, but it is not like only we can discuss. These are the topics, but for something reference, I have listed these topics. So we will go through is. So anyone explain what is diagnostics? I think I hope everyone automotive domain. So anyone knows what is diagnostics? Hello. So needs input from you guys also. So if you don't know, say don't know. At least I can tell what it is. So at least we need some input from you guys. So okay. So diagnostics, I only explain. So diagnostic is the process of identifying the root cause of a fault or issue in the vehicle system. So, generic term or word diagnostic is the process of identifying the root cause or fault in the vehicle. So, whenever the ECU finds a problem, it stores that problem as diagnostic trouble code (DTC) in the EEPROM for later retrieval. So, for example, if you have the vehicle or car, so it has some issue, so that we will be uh, checking or diagnose using this diagnostic. We can check what is the fault is stored in the vehicle. For example, engine fault or brake fault, airbag fault. So everything we can check. So when a vehicle has the ECU means electronic control unit, detects a problem, it stores the DTC, diagnostic trouble code, in the EEPROM memory. Okay. So anyone knows what is diagnostic protocol? At least what is protocol? Anyone knows? Okay, no answer. I think nobody is responding. So, a diagnostic protocol is a set of communication rules used to identify and troubleshoot faults in the vehicle electronic system. And this protocol enable diagnostic tool to communicate with the vehicle control unit (ECU), electronic control unit. So this the protocol enables we can communicate with this tool. So it will enable if you wanted to read the DTC using the diagnostic protocol. Okay, so how we gonna read? So in further slides you will see that. So we have the common automotive diagnostic protocols are these. So KWP 2000 ISO 414230, and then UDS ISO 14229, and then CAN control area network ISO 15765. So then OBD2. So these are the common automotive diagnostic protocol so used in automotive industry. So I haven't used this KWP, and we are using this ISO 14229. So CAN and OBD also be used. So we can discuss that. Okay. So this is the automotive diagnostic service. So what is automotive diagnostic service? This is automotive diagnostic service helps identifying issues in the vehicle when it is not running or behaving as expected, as we discussed earlier. So it involves the communication with electronics control unit ECU using read command and write command. So what is the use of read command? To retrieve data such as fault codes, sensor values, and system faults. Write commands to update or program data into the ECU such as resetting fault code or configuring the parameter. Okay. So anyone knows what is diagnostic session? Please speak, guys. It's like boring if I speak alone. So we need at least some inputs from you guys also. At least you guys are listening or not. Hello. Okay. So a diagnostic session is a communication mode between a diagnostic tool and the vehicle electronic control unit ECU. So different diagnostic session allows the access to different levels of diagnostic functions. So we have default session, which means the basic communication and fault code reading in the default session, and we have extended session, access to the advanced diagnostic data and control functions. The programming session used for the ECU reprogramming and software update. So these are the three: diagnostic session, default session, extended session, and programming session. So diagnostic session control used to enable this is other diagnostic session control used to enable the different diagnostic session in one ECU or group of ECU. The diagnostic session control request message shall meet the format defined in the table below. So these are the subfunction it supports. Diagnostic session control service ID is 10, and subfunction default session, programming session, and extend session. So as you see, default session value is 01, and programming session value is 02, and external session is 03. So we can see how we can send the request and response for this one. For the default session, how we can send for the programming session, how we can send for the external session. So this is the tester, and this is the can address 1C12, and 10 is the diagnostic session service ID, and 01 is the subfunction. As we learned from the previous slide, 01 is for the default session. So this is the request we are sending from tester to the ECU, and then we get the response from the ECU. So 1C01, 1C12 is the same can address, and then we get for the 10, for the response it will add 40. So 10 plus 40 is 50, and 01 is the subfunction. 0032 and 01F4 is the time delay, where it states in that time delay in the required requested diagnostic session. And similarly we have 1003 is a extended session. So here also you can see we have 1002 as well programming session, and you can see the response for the 1002 as well. So we have negative response as well for this diagnostic session control response. So negative response value, data value is 7f, diagnostic session control the 10, and we have negative response of functions 12, 13, and 22. So next slide we can see how the response for, so subfunction not supported. So subfunction not supported, the value is 12. How do you get the subfunction not supported? So we, as you know, it is supported only three diagnostic session. It differ project to project, but in our project it's only supports three diagnostic session. So if you are giving 10.0.5, you will get the subfunction is not supported because that is not implemented in the diagnostics. And 13. So how do you get the 13? We have 10.0.1, 10.0.2, and 10.0.3. So only, so if you are sending 10.0.1.0.1, so then the length of the request message will be more, so then you will get this invalid length, incorrect message length, or invalid format that you can see in this slide. So in this slide, tester sends request 10.0.5. So 0.5 is not supported, so we can see this 12. 12 is subfunction not supported. And we can see here 10.0.1.0.1. So 0.1, 10.0.1 is supported, but 10.0.1.0.1 in invalid message format. So that's the reason we can see 7f, 10, 13. 13 is invalid. Okay. So ECU reset. Basically, there are two different types of ECU resets. One is hard reset, and another one is soft reset. So hard reset in a sense, 10 0, 11.0.1, uh, which we use normally. The complete ECU resets. 10.0.2, I haven't used it, but as theoretically, it will be only resets the software itself in the ECU. So that is my understanding. If anyone wants to add some information, please add. Okay. So as you see here, the ECU reset request service ID is 11, and then subfunction it is supported 01, 02, and 03. So 01 is the hard reset, positive response is required, and key on off reset, positive response is required, and then soft reset. These three subfunctions supported in ECU reset, which is 11 service ID. So we see the positive response. The positive response we can see for 11 it will add 40, so 51. And subfunctions 01, 01 is hard reset, 02 is key on off reset, 03 is a soft reset, but in our project we are using only this one. So yeah, so this is the request and response for the 11.01. So then ECU reset response, negative response. Uh, as you can see, so negative response starts with 7f, and ECU reset service ID is 11. So as earlier explained, the subfunction not supported is 12, and then incorrect message length or invalid format is 13. Condition not correct is 22. When, so how do you get this sub function not supported? So as you can see, we have tester sending can address, and 11 is function service, and 01 is subfunction, sorry, and 03 is not supported. So we can see the invalid format or incorrect message length in the first request and response. In the second one, so only it is supported 01, 02, 03. If you, so in our project is not supported 02, so that's why we see this 7F 11 12 is subfunction not supported. So clear diagnostic session. So clear diagnostic session, we can clear the DTCs in the ECU. So clear diagnostic information request shall reset or erase all DTC information including the following. So DTC, DTC status byte, and other DTC related data such as first or most recent DTCs, flag counter and timers specific to DTC. The permanent DTC shall be stored in non-volatile memory. This DTC cannot be cleared any test equipment. Example, onboard tester or off-board tester. So this one clear diagnostic service is 14, and you can clear the particular DTC code or group of DTC code. So if you send 14 FF is a high byte group of the DTC. So it is FF. If you send this, you can clear any DTC. So you can see this. So the tester sends 14 FF, like 3 byte of code, DTC code. So then you will get the positive response, which means it's cleared the DTCs. So that is what here positive response, clear diagnostic information, positive response, service ID. So this is the negative response. As you can see, 7F, and then service ID 14, clear diagnostic information, positive response, and subfunction 31. So in software, if it is not implemented, you can see this request out of range. And if you are sending more than 3 byte of code, so then you can see this 13, and condition not correct is 22. So read DTC information. So this is one important service in the diagnostic UDS. You can read the 19 service. Using 19 service, you can read the DTCs. This service allows a diagnostic tool to read the status of the ECU, resident diagnostic trouble code, DTC, whichever DTC is present in the ECU, you can read using this service. Yeah. So this is the structure where 19 is a read etc information request service ID, and then subfunctions. You can see report number of DTC by status mask 01, report DTC by status mask, report DTC snapshot record by DTC, report supported DTCs, positive response required 0A, and report first confirmed DTC, report most recent confirmed DTC, positive response required. So we will see. So this is the positive response. 59, 59, like for the 19 it is added the 40, so 59, we got the response 59. And then report type. So report type is report number of DTC by status mask, and then report number of mirror memory DTC status mask, report number of DTC by security mask, and DTC status availability mask, DTC format identifier, DTC code. So you can see this is the request I used, and then I requested 1902 AF. Okay, so 19 is the DTC information service ID, and 0202 is the subfunction. Uh, okay, 91 3B 1B is the DTC code, and AF is the available DTC availability mask, and so next one is DTC count 2, the second DTC. Yeah, so this is the DTC read DTC information, and read DTC information response negative response 7F, and the DTC is 19. So here also subfunction not supported 12, and incorrect message length or invalid format 13, and request out of range 31. As you know, if you are requesting with not supported subfunction, for example 0203 is supported, except that if you are giving other, then you can see subfunction not supported. And if you are requesting uh, rec- if you are requesting like more than what format says, so then you can see this invalid message length and request out of range. So if the read etc is not implemented in your software, so and if you are sending that 1902 AF, so then you can see that you response to the 31 request out of range. So this is the read data by identifier. So ReadDataByIdentifier is a service allows the diagnostic tool to request the data record values from the ECU identified by the record data identifier. So 22, the service ID is 22, and data identifier. So I didn't write the example for this one, but I can say so 22 F190 is the win number where you can see it's a common data read data identifier, where you can see the win number is stored in that did. So for that, positive response is 22 plus 40 62, and then F190 you can see, and then what is the value it contains. So here in data identifier F198, and the win number value will be coming in this byte. Okay, so the negative response, you can see the negative response start with 7F, and 22 is the service ID, and then subfunction, like if you are not, for example, condition not correct. So this the read data identifier, if it is not as like it's purely depend on the implementation and requirement. So one requirement or one example is like you can't read some specific dates in some sessions. For example, now if you are going to read in default session, so you can see this negative response 22 called condition not correct because they're not implemented in the default session. And the incorrect message length or invalid format, for example, if you are requesting the more values, more uh, specific, for example, 22 f1, 22 f1 90, if you are requesting other more bytes, so then 22 f1 90 0102, so then you will get this invalid length. And then request out of range. So if you are if it is not implemented in your project, for example f1990, as I told the did. So if you are requesting f1 something, it is not implemented in software, so you will see this request out of range. And then security access denied. So for security reason, they might have implemented we have to unlock the security access level 1, level 2 or something, and level 4. So then if you're not unlocking and reading this date, so then you will get this security access denied 33. So next service is security access. The security access is to provide to access the data or diagnostic services which have the restricted access for the security, emission, or safety related. Okay, so this one is as I mentioned earlier. So if some data you have that is secured, you need to read that. So you should unlock the ECU and then you should read it. So that is the reason the security access is implemented in UDS. So we have the sub function. This is a 27 is a service ID, and we have sub function 0102 and then key. So request seed is a positive response 01, and send key is 02. And this is the positive response. So 27 plus 40 67. And then security access type, security access, security seed. So this is the response, negative response. So subfunction, it supports subfunction not supported 12, and then condition not correct 22, and incorrect message length or invalid format 13, and request sequence error 24, and then invalid key 35, and exceed number of attempts 36, and required time delay not expired 37. So subfunction not supported. So 01 and 02 request seed and request key and seed. So if you are sending more than other than that, you will see this subfunction not supported in this one. And then invalid, incorrect message or invalid format. So if you are sending uh, not proper sequence, so then you can see this invalid format. And sequence error. So sequence error, I don't know how we get this one, but if you are not requesting, like first you need to send the seed and key, right? So maybe if you are not sending proper way, you will get this sequence error and invalid key. So to unlock, there will be key. For example, some projects they have FF55 or something random values which is defined in the projects. So if you are using, like if you are using wrong key, so then you will get this 35, the negative response 35. And exceed number of attempts, I haven't tried this. And then required time delay not expired, I haven't tried this. So communication control. The purpose of this service is to switch off or on the transmission of the certain ECU messages. Some possible communication control types are enable RX and TX, enable RX and disable TX, enable RX and enable TX, disable RX and enable TX, disable RX and TX. So communication control service ID is 28 and subfunction it supports 01 and 11. So 01 is enable RX and TX positive response is required for both enabling and so you can see here enable RX and disable TX is 11. Then normal communication you will send 01 and the network management communication 02 and network communication messenger 02. So these are the subfunction it is supported. Communication control required service id response service id is 68. So 28 plus 40 68 the positive response and the control type whether you are enabling both TXRX or disabling both TXRX or only TX or only RX. So those response we will get it here. Okay, this is the same negative response 7F 28 and one of this subfunction negative response you can see. So write data by identifier. This is also one important thing. So if you wanted to write something, you use this 2E service and write to the ECU. Write data by identifier service allows the diagnostic tool to write the information into the ECU at an internal location specified by the data identifier. So this is the service 2E and then data identifier like you can take it F190 and then data record what you need to write so that you will write it here. Write data by identifier. Write data by identifier 6E like the positive response 2E plus 30 you will get 6E and then service ID and data identifier. Write data by identifier response. So negative response is 7F 2E and these are the subfunctions you will see like 33 security access denied and condition not correct and incorrect message length or invalid format request out of range. So these are the subfunctions you will see. So input output control by identifier. So the 2F is input output control by identifier. So as the name indicates, you can control the input and output by the DID identifier in the sense DID. The service is used by the diagnostic tool to substitute a value for an input signal. Internal ECU functions are control an output actuator of an electronic system. So what is the meaning of this service is you can control the input output particular input output signal. So here is the request and response. The input output control by identifier request service ID 2F and data identifier. For example, you have the date some dates, so it's not specific date F190. Just I'm taking the example, and then you can see the reset the default value, freeze to the current state, and short term adjustment. So these are the sub function you can set. Input output control by identify response positive response is 2F plus 46F and the DID data identifier and input output control. So these are the three services it supported. And this is negative response. Security access denied 33. Like if you wanted to write something, control some input output data, so there will be some security access, so that if you are not writing the security access, unlocking the ECU, if you get this 33, and then condition not correct. So there will be precondition. For example, you should go to the exchange session, and then you should execute this 2F service. So if you're not doing that, so then you will get this condition not correct. Incorrect message length or invalid, 13. So if the format is wrong, so then you will get this 13. And request out of range. So if the service is not implemented in the software but you're accessing it, so then you will get this request out of range. So tester present service id is 3e. This service is used to indicate to an ECU or group of ECU that a diagnostic tool is still connected to the vehicle, or that certain diagnostic services and the communication that have been previously activated are to remain active. For example, if you are sending this tester present 3E00, so then if you are sending continuously, and if you are sending 1003 and tester present, it will be keep actively activate this 1003 as soon as until you stop this tester present. It will be keep activating whenever you read current session. It will be in the default session or the external session, whichever you sent it. So in this case, so 00 supports positive response, and no response is, if you don't want any response, you can give 3E80. So then you won't see any response, but it will be keep activating the session, extends the session. So then positive response is 300, and you can see subfunction not supported 12, and incorrect message, invalid message format. So these are the two subfunctions supported. So control DTC. So control DTC service ID is 85. The control DTC setting service is used by the diagnostic tool stop or resume the settings of DTC in the ECU. So control DTC setting service 85, and on positive response required, off positive response is required. 01 and 02 subfunction supported. And then this is the positive response 85, 40, C5, and then subfunction. So this is a negative response, as we already discussed, subfunction not supported, and incorrect message length or invalid format. Condition not correct, request out of range. The same is applicable for here as well. Routine control. The routine control service is used by the client to start a routine, stop routine, and request routine results. A routine is referred by 2-byte routine identifier. Like you have 31, 31, 01, 02. Yeah, so 31 is routine control. Using this, you can uh, control some uh, functionalities. So, for example, like calibrations or all those things, you can, using this routine control, you can do it. I think this is the end of this slide. So if you have any questions, we can discuss. So today, but I only talk today is not that much interactive session. Bless, please, if you have any questions, we can discuss it now. Govardhan and Ramya, Swati, if you have any questions, please. Uh, okay. So, thank you for listening. Maybe we will wind up today. Please let me know if you have any questions.